Hello, I'm back. Today is Sunday, October the 9th. It's about 12:30. Today I'm going to talk about let's see, I got a whole bunch of lists of subjects here, and I'm going to address unity. A lot of our problems that we got going is about our divergent views about how to get to our goal, and I'm going to talk about how that's sort of a distraction from what we need to be focusing on. Give me a second. Now, we spend a lot of time fussing with each other. So, what I'm going to address is some of the things that remember when I was talking about part two, phase two part, the parts about stop getting on each other's nerves, essentially. Well, this is part of that. And listen to all the other recordings prior to this one because they all build on each other. Really, it's essentially a long singular recording that I'm breaking up in parts because it all goes together. Everything I'm saying goes together. And remember when I talked about how all of these topics are ands, not ours. That is, they build on each other. They're holistic, like a complicated quilt with many, many parts. Today we're going to look at the part about unity, and this is part of several topics I'll talk about unity. But on this one, I'm going to address what I call the journey of many paths to get to the same place. Um, Among the things in this topic will be the black family. The goal of the black family was whole, healthy, strong, and in control. That's the main goal. All things that lead to that is on the same page. That's what I want. That's my whole goal. My black family, whole, healthy, strong, and in control. Everything I'm saying is about that. Not only everything I'm saying, I want everybody that's supporting this goal to be recognizing that as us being on the same page. Now, the journey to get there might be different for different people because everybody's got a different role in that. And so I'm going to talk more about that. The other thing is I'm going to address what I call the coon dream. And you'll see more about that in a little while. Now back to this, the black family, whole, healthy, strong, and in control equals main goal. That's what my note is here that I typed out as the overview of this session. All of the there are many, 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 many people jumping on the new black reality wagon, and some of them have different goals. The ones that I'm talking to and listening to, and I want to be on board with me, are the ones who want the black family to be whole, healthy, strong, and in control. Now, whole is parents, both parents in the household, taking a part in raising the kids. By whole, I mean mother, father, children, both of them working toward the goal of raising those children to be whole, healthy, strong, and in control. And in turn, these kids will raise kids to be the same way strong, healthy, whole, and in control. So that's the whole family. And then the supporting family around them. But the two queens, the two main people, the king, the queen, and the kids, those are what I want to be in control. I don't never want us to be in this position again where we have to ask other people to help us. Because as we can see with this reality, that doesn't happen. They're not helping us. So we've got to do it. And so do it we shall. Because we have to. Okay? Healthy. That is, we got control of our food supply and it's wholesome food. We've got control of our medical supply, and we are treating us uh, with healthy medicine that's not genetically modified, not messing with our DNA, not turning us into something that we shouldn't be. And we can see the evidence all around us. Strong. That means that you are strong of body, mind, and spirit. That is, you're physically strong, mentally strong, and spiritually strong. And any other level of strong you need to be that's positive to the growth of that black family. In control. That means in control of our fate, in control of our destiny, and sub level in control of our food supply, health supply, economic supply, um, militia, all levels of our activity, we have to be in control of it from now on. So, um, we made some mistakes in the past. We can't make them again. We got to recognize those as mistakes. And so, everything that I do on my recordings is to support that main goal. There are other people who have that same goal. When I listen to them, they might phrase it differently, but that's the same goal they have. So I'm on board with that group. There are other groups that have a slightly different view of what we need to do. I'm not with them. They're a different schism. They're a different focus. If you have anything that's not in support of this goal, exactly like I said it, this isn't the place for you. Go find the other people who have that goal that's closer to what you're looking for. And this is part of what I call stop getting on each other's nerves. Everybody ain't going to be doing the same thing the same way. And that's fine. But you need to be where the people are who are looking at what you're doing and interested in what you want. Go to them. Don't stay here. You need to be with them and help them and be in support of their goal, whatever it is. Don't be here. You're over here sabotaging us and getting in the way. We got stuff to do. You have stuff to do. So go play with your friends over there, wherever they are, and focus on whatever it is they're doing. We've got business to take care of over here. And so, no, you're not welcome here. Please don't come. And in turn, I won't go wherever you are because what those things are that you're interested in is not my main goal. So I'm not going to spend my time over there. And I expect not to spend my time over there. I expect for you to be over wherever you are and doing your thing because that's where you're supposed to be. You're supposed to be helping the people who have ideas and focuses that you do. Okay? Um, there are many ways to get to the same goal, to get to our goal. And I call this a journey of many paths to get to the same place. Now, a subschism of the goal that I'm talking about might be somebody else doing something different, but they got that same end result in mind, and they are got something else going on that they are interested in and the way to do it. And they're supposed to have that. None of us are supposed to be exactly alike. Picture it as a big old map, right? With several paths. You ever seen those old little puzzles where they have this little path and trail puzzle where you go through the maze and get to some place? Well, that's how life is, and that's how goals go. We don't know what's in the future, and we don't know how to get to where we're trying to go, but we have to go there. So picture this little maze thing. I'm going to try to describe it to you. It's usually on a square sheet of paper, and it has a start point, and then it has a whole bunch of squiggly lines, and then it has an end point. Between the start point and the end point are all these squiggly lines, and the lines are essentially trails or paths, and they're all intersecting and jumbled up. And if you have the start point and you take your little pencil and you go all around the paths, you come to various dead ends and traps and pitfalls and things that you have to backtrack or fall in and die if you were a real person. But that's part of the maze. It's almost like a rat maze. It is exactly like a rat maze. Sometimes these little squiggly paths are squiggly, sometimes they're square. And in real life, it'll be one of those topiary mazes. Remember, like on that old movie, The Shining, where everybody was running between those bushes on the maze? It's like that. That's what I'm picturing. That's the journey on the same path. It essentially starts and ends, but you have to go through all of these traps and misdirected things all along the way. I say this journey is like that because we don't know what's going to be on the path that we're going on. We might be heading to dead ends. We might be heading to all kind of traps and pitfalls. A pitfall is a hole that somebody dug and you run across it. They dig the hole, right? And then they cover it over with bushes and things to make it look like a regular trail. But if you run across it, your gravity will drop you into the pit. That's a pitfall. um, and that's an old term. That's an old kind of trap. Right now, we'd probably call it a sinkhole in modern times. But you don't know that you're going to go to a pitfall until you go over it and you fall in it because it's disguised. You don't know when you're going to go to a dead end until you actually go in the dead end and see that it's a dead end, and then you have to backtrack and come out and go out the other path. All of these opinions and sub opinions and ideas about how to get to this main goal, which was the whole about the black family, all of those are worthy of going to. Picture us, excuse me, picture everybody that's got some ideas about how to get to this main goal as a whole bunch of people at the start point in that maze. Sorry about that sound. A picture that is a whole bunch of people at the start point of that maze, say 100 or so. Each one of them is going to take a different path to get to that main goal across the way, across that big old maze. And a lot of them are going to go to dead ends, but a few of them might make it. That's the way these ideas and the way we're approaching this ought to be. And it is, except we are unfortunately seeing each other taking different paths as our competitors. I don't see them as our competitors. I see them as other possibilities that might get to that goal. See the way I think of it is the more people going a different way, the better chance at least some of us will make it to the end. So I want you to have divergent views. I want you to have different paths. I want you to take different steps to get to the other side. So if all of us take a different path, that's fine with me. I want us to, because I might run into a pitfall and be off the road. Somebody else might run into a few pitfalls and traps and dead ends and be off the road. But some of them might make it to the other end. None of us know who's right until we actually get to the other end. Excuse me. So stop it with the griping and fighting, but just say, okay, that's the path you're taking, and let them and leave them alone. I'm not going to argue with somebody else who's taking a different path. I'm saying what I do is look at their agenda and the way they're writing it and the way they're doing it and take that path. So, some people are among the kind of paths that I'm meaning and talking about is, for example, a person who's building a institution of some sort to help this black family be whole, healthy, strong, and in control, and he's building something. That's fine, but if he's building something, that's good. But don't bitch at the one whose path is to talk about it. That is, some people's path is to go around and make speeches about the information that needs to be getting out, that's out, or needs to be out, and their job is to talk. Their job is to talk. Um, Dr. Welsing, for example, she taught. That's teaching, and talking is teaching, and living by it. That's what she did consistently for the whole from the 70s to the 2006 15 when she passed away, 2016 when she passed away. She never deviated from her path. She would say her statement consistently throughout that because that was her mission, that was her assignment, and she stayed on task consistently, purely, and steadily. One step at a time, she would backtrack patiently for you to catch up, and she would stay focused on her path, on her part of the goal. She did her work, and her work was to teach and to talk. That was her work. Dr. Ben was an explorer. His path was to go and find the knowledge and tell it to you. And he did. He stayed on task. So that all the other teachers and speakers. We have a new crop of teachers and speakers. And I am grateful to them because they're doing their work. Other people might have a network where they have the debates and stuff. That's their path. They're on their path. I'm not sure of all of them's goal is the main goal that we have, but that's fine. They might take part in it. You pick it up, you put it down, and I'm hoping all people understand that. What I mean, look at some of the previous recordings. It explained more about picking it up and putting it down. So that's their mission, and they're taking part in it, and I'm fine with that. I'm not going to spend my time fussing about that. I would recommend that you don't either because it's a distraction. Other people's goal is to build a business and then spend their time on their franchise putting the word out. There might be a network, a TV show, or whatever. Fine, go for that. Just so we stay focused on that main goal. Take your different paths to get there. My path is to talk and then finally offer suggestions and ideas about what to do next. Because we can be out of this problem within a few months if we are unified and focused. Right now on this election, I do intend to vote because I do want us to have a little more time to get our act together before all hell breaks loose. So I just want us to better prepare. Right now, we're not prepared. Right now, honestly, if we I have this thought in my head that I make a joke about, but if it and I'll tell it to you. I say something like if black people's urine, that is our pee pee, our urine, our number one that comes out of our body, our urine. If our urine became worth its weight in gold, we would still lose control of the industry at this time. We are that ignorant in business. We are that ignorant in protecting ourselves. We are too weak to even control an industry built on our own urine. We will be working overtime for somebody else, sitting on the toilet trying to pee pee. So, right now, we're not ready. My job is to help us try to get ready, okay? So, like I said, there are many ways to get to this goal, and don't worry about other paths because that's a distraction. Yeah, it's a distraction. By distraction, I mean sometimes the virus kicks in, and look at my previous one about the virus and religion. It's a mental virus that black people have. Sometimes that virus kicks in and manifests as us running all over the place to distract ourselves from what we need to do. And I see us fighting among ourselves as a part of that. We can't afford to fight among ourselves. We have to let the other guy do his thing and just focus on what we're doing and what we need to be doing. By distraction, I mean like, for example, when I was in college and I did not want to write the paper because it was boring, I find myself vacuuming, washing the windows, doing laundry, cooking complicated meals. Any other weekend, I would be sitting on my butt, but now I got to write a paper. Suddenly, I want to clean up and do housework. Okay, what I'm doing is fighting doing that paper because I don't want to do it. It's boring. I done already did the research, got the knowledge I wanted out of the books, like that. Don't want to write about it because it's boring. Don't want to spend my consciousness on writing a paper to tell somebody something that I already know, and there's no interest in it for me. I already know the stuff, so I need to write it down, But I still had to write the paper for the grade. But suddenly I got an emergency vacuum to do. So I didn't want to do that because now suddenly these dishes just absolutely have to be clean right now. Anything to not write that paper. One day I figured out what I was doing when I was doing some complicated task that I had been putting off for 2 years. And suddenly it needed to be done that weekend. And I said, okay, I just don't want to do that paper if I'm going to go ahead and do this thing that I ain't never wanted to do. So I sat down and made myself write the stupid paper. And I recognize my distraction symptoms now more clearly as time goes. So pay attention to your distraction symptoms. If you just suddenly jumping around, got to fight about something that normally wouldn't bother you, you're distracting yourself. And by distraction, I mean you're making yourself do this instead of focusing on what you need to be doing. Pay attention to that. Okay. Now this other part here is called the coon dream. I'm gonna upload my paper about my some of my papers about the dreams I've had. I've been a weird person, a weird dreamer all my life. I didn't know other people didn't dream like I did. Like I always dream in color. Yes, I can read in a dream. Yeah, read physical words in my dreams. Okay, I know other people say, or scientists say, that you can't read in your dream. I read in my dream all the time. I have this dream that I named Simulated Navy Humans. Simulated Navy Humans. That was on the class schedule for the class that I was late for in a college I was going to in Japan in the dream. I was going to a college in Japan, and I couldn't find my class. And so I looked at my schedule and I found a place where I could look at the schedule and look at the campus map on my schedule, because I couldn't find the room and nobody could tell me. So I was looking at my schedule and I said, okay, now I got the map in front of me. I was out looking at the board with the campus map. And I said, okay, if I could find a map and compare it to the classroom I'm supposed to be in, I could find this place. And so I looked at my schedule and I said, okay, now my class, what's the name of my class? Scroll down and I looked at it and it said Simulated Navy Humans. And I stood staring at it. In my dream, I stood staring at it. And I woke myself up because I was staring. At some point in your dream, when your mind is too active or too concerned, it'll wake you up. And that's what I did. And I woke up dying laughing because that was the name of the class I was taking. Simulated Navy Humans. I don't know what a simulated Navy human is, but that was a dream. And that was the words. I later on found out that you weren't supposed to be able to read in your dream. And so I said, well, that's weird. Who would say something like that? But it was some scientific fact I was coming through in my travels in my mind on TV or something. Somebody said that you couldn't read in your dream. And so soon after that, about a year or two after that, I had another dream where the character was looking in a book for something and she was reading the pages. And then the conscious me in the dream said, "You ain't supposed to be able to read in your dream." And so we made the character read it again. I said, "Yeah, that's it. Those are words. I'm reading words." Okay. And then I said, "No, you're not supposed to be able to read words." And then we made her read it again. So we looked at the page. We read it with our fingers underlining it, and we were definitely reading. So over the years I've had some funny dreams, and so I decided to start writing them down, and they're typed out and I'm gonna upload them so that other people can read them and know how weird my mind is. And and so that'll be something funny to read. Most of these dreams are pretty funny. Various funny dreams. They are. But this one that I'm going to tell you about, I haven't written down. And I nickname it the Coon Dream. First, I'll tell you the dream. It starts off with now it starts off with me and my sister, which I don't have, upstairs in a bedroom laughing and talking with each other. I'm gonna tell you the dream as it happened and describe it, and then I'm gonna go back over it and tell you what different symbols were. Okay? So first off, I don't really have a sister that's 2 years younger than me, but me and this sister were upstairs in the upstairs bathroom. I think I was sitting on the bed and she was sitting in a chair across from me, and we were laughing and talking. Um, it was a window that was between us, as I think her the bed was by the window at the foot of the bed, and the chair was at the window. And so it was open, and we were laughing and talking over on the second floor. We heard a sound outside, and we didn't pay much attention to it. Then we heard it again. It sounded like the back gate was opening. And so we looked out the window, didn't see anything, but we wondered if the door was unlocked still. So we ran downstairs, and she's behind me, and I'm in front. Now, as an archetype, I was the older sister, about 2 years older, but I was a different kind of female. I had on warrior clothes. I had warrior clothes, and she was like a little. We were the same height. I think she might have been my height or slightly taller. But she was like a southern. You ever seen those southern period pieces? Or a southern, I guess you would call it a southern debutante. She was light skinned and brown skinned. Um, I had my hair out of the way. I think it was short, cut short in a short afro. And I had on pants and a long sleeve shirt. Yeah, pants and a shirt. And sturdy walking shoes or running shoes, sturdy shoes, easy maneuverable shoes. She had on a dress with puffy sleeves, a high waist uh, black velvet belt like thing. It was like a band around the upper body, high waisted dress with a long skirt part that's below the knees. I think it came just above her ankles. It had ruffles around the bottom, and it was a flowy dress with a high waist, black velvet with the bow in front, and black velvet puffy. Her sleeves are puffy on the dress with black velvet ribbons around the bottom of the sleeve. And it was just, they were shoulder height sleeves, and just a little fluffy girly dress uh, with a round collar, puffy sleeves, puffy short sleeves, shoulder length sleeve that come to the upper arms, that were puffy with gathered at the bottom ruffles, with that black velvet bow thingy on the shoulder, I mean at the bottom of the sleeves. And her hair was up off her neck, but it was like just put up in curls, black curly hair. She was light skinned, big eyes, light skinned, beautiful, light skinned, beautiful lady. I was brown skinned and in pants and shirts, and I would call and in the dream and in my subconscious I call them warrior clothes. And she was a puffy thing that you have to protect. So we ran downstairs. This house that we were in, I didn't see the whole house. It was just a bedroom that we were talking in, laughing and talking, playing with stuffed animals, doing girl things. The second floor, that was the room we were in, and we ran downstairs. On the bottom stairs, bottom floor, it was two parts. The upper part was a upper part flat area, and then the bottom part. Well, let me. Okay, don't confuse the second floor with the upper part of the first floor. It was a platform that's big and roomy, and then you come forward on the platform to a flight of stairs, a short flight of stairs, like five or six, 7 or 8 stairs, seven, no more than 7 stairs, I think. It was about a platform about waist high, a tad above waist high. I'm 5'5", so this would be about a yard tall platform, and whatever steps it takes to get to that. It was a platform with a banister and a flight of stairs on either a flight of stairs on the middle, and the banister railing on both sides of that. And it was just like a little stage. It looks like if you were to picture it, it'd be something similar to a stage, but it was a platform which had more house stuff. Okay, that's where we ran down to, and then we ran down the rest of the stairs. So the staircase we ran down from the second floor to the first floor was off to the right hand side of that platform space, and then we came forward on the platform space and down those short flight of stairs to the bottom part. This was the back door to the house, and it was a big open room, and I was going toward the back door to see if I had locked it, and then a man was there, a white man. He was a warrior, like a soldier type guy, and he just stepped quietly into the room. I could go into detail about how the yard was made. Yeah, I will. I'll go into detail. It was a fenced yard, but it had a 6 foot tall, well, a taller than a person, big old yard and a fence around it, a wooden fence, brown wood fence with a back gate. And that's what we heard open. And we heard a second sound, and that was a man, I think, coming up the path. And so he got to the back door at about the same time we did, and he opened it and stepped in. I didn't have time to close and lock the door. But meanwhile, he opened the door and stepped in. He was looking at us, a white man, young, about like 25 or 26. And he was close to my age. And I wondered if I have to fight him because and I knew I had to fight him. She ran and got behind me, the sister, and she was looking over my shoulders. You ever seen those animation cartoons where the girl is scared of something and she runs and get behind the boy, and she grabs his shoulder and looks over his shoulder at the person that's a threat, and they have that little frown on their face, and they're looking over the shoulder, glaring at him, and the guy is holding her back. Okay, she ran and got behind me, and she grabbed my shoulders and looked over him. Meanwhile, the man is drawing his sword. I drew mine. She's holding on to me and standing in back of me. He's coming toward me wanting to fight, and I'm trying to fight and block and keep him from getting her, and she's holding on to me. I can't hardly move. But I knew that I wasn't afraid when he drew his sword because I knew I could take him. And so I wasn't worried about the fight, but I couldn't move in the fight. And so so we engaged fighting, and I blocked all of his thrusts and stuff, but I'm still trying to move while she's holding me and block him, and I can't reach out and do a killing blow or even a disabling blow. I could keep up with him and block him and keep him from hurting me, but I couldn't do anything to hurt him because she had me. She was grabbing me, she was holding me. After this did about 2 or 3 times, I was starting to wonder if she was helping him on some level. Is she purposely helping him, or is she trying to support him somehow? And so I stopped fighting, and he stood there patiently while we talked. I said, "Are you in cahoots with him?" She assured me they weren't, that she wasn't. I said, "Do you know him?" She assured me she didn't. I asked her questions like that, and I said, "Well, why are you holding me?" You're stopping me from fighting him. He's going to hurt me. And I said, let go of me. Stop that. Because every time I moved away from her, she would run up and grab me again. And are you trying to get me killed? I asked, because she was holding my arms and shoulders. I couldn't fight, and I couldn't move like I should to fight. So finally, she assured me that she wasn't in cahoots with him, and she assured me that she wasn't trying to help him. Because if she, I said, well, maybe she's his girlfriend, and they trying to hurt me and get me out the way. Because I was gonna go. Fine, take whatever you need. I just need my pencils, something like that. Because I was gonna go. Because if they were in cahoots together, then fine. But she assured me they weren't, and she didn't know him and didn't, she wasn't on his side. And I believed her in the dream, and I believe that was true. So the conclusion is she wasn't on his side. Meanwhile, I convinced her to let me go. And so we engaged in fighting again. This time, every time I'm getting to ready to strike him, she's in the way. We're moving around the floor fighting, and each time we're engaging, she's flitting around in the way. I'm getting ready to reach forward to strike, and she's in the way, and I have to parry my blow or deflect my blow or move to not hit her instead of him. Meanwhile, he has no compulsion about coming at me despite her being in the way. He didn't mind hitting her or me. So that's a hell of a fight I'm having trying to keep from hitting her and keep her from being hit while she's in the way. And so after about two or three of these, I said, damn, every time I do that, she gets in the way again. Damn. Because she's, for some reason, in the way. I don't know why she's in the way. um, Finally, at one point, we engaged, and I barely, and I got ready to do a strike or disabling fatal blow forward, and she was in the way again, and I had to pull back. Meanwhile, he was engaged, and he managed to cut me on my upper arm. It wasn't a bad cut, but he did manage to cut me. And then I turned to her and I said, why the hell are you on the fighting floor? You're not fighting. You're not doing anything. Why the hell are you down here? Would you get out the way? Because I'd already told her to get out the way once or twice. Then I fussed at her. Why the hell are you down here on the fighting floor? And that's what I call the fighting floor. Get out the way, da da da. Because I wanted her to get back upstairs on the platform because she was not helping the fight and she was nothing but in the way. And so she was heading upstairs, but I was already so worked up mentally that I woke myself up from the dream. And I said to myself after I woke up, I said, what a strange dream. I don't even have a sister. And I just put that in the back of my mind and said, what a strange, strange dream. And I tried to analyze it to figure out what it meant. Over some time, I think about 6 months, I tried to figure out what that dream meant. Maybe not 6 months, but 3 to 6 months or so to figure out what that dream meant. Because I didn't have a sister, and I basically set it aside until one day something happened, and well, I was interpreting it wrong first off because I was thinking it as a sister and me and against a man. Because I knew that if I were to fall, and that's what I was fussing at her about, if I fall, you're going to be at his mercy. Then what? Why the hell aren't you out the way? So, um, that's the dream. Now, the interpretation is this. After I found out what it meant, it wasn't about a sister and a man, it was about black people. There are the warrior black people and the oblivious coons. That's why I call it the coon dream. These are the people, if as soon as you substitute black people for the two sisters, you get it. There is one kind of black person who's a warrior willing to engage, and then there's the other kind who are standing by, not willing to engage, can't fight, but interfering with the fight. That was the dream, and that's when I knew it wasn't a dream, it was a vision. That was a vision about black people. It wasn't a dream at all. It's what the heavens sent me to say that Until we get black people on the same page and united and focused, we can't win. Because the oblivious coons, the people who might not be meaning any harm, are going to be either A, keeping your hands at the side and holding you back and fixing you so that you can't engage, or B, in the way when you try to strike them. You can't strike them with them in the way because you're going to hit them too. And they aren't getting out the way. And they won't get out the way until you put them out the way. Or make sure they're not on the fighting floor. That's the vision. And that's the coon dream. So we have to get all of our black folks, all of us, on the same page so that either A, the ones who ain't going to engage, be out the way, and they're not, or B, not holding, A and B, out of the way and not holding us back. Because with me, when I was fighting that white man, I was a I was a match for him. He couldn't have beat me. He didn't beat me, and he wasn't going to. He couldn't. I had too many skills, and I was able to engage. But the only thing that was keeping me from hurting him was other black people. That was my sister. She was the problem. She stopped me from being able to hurt him. She was in the way. She was holding me back. That's black people. That's our plight. That is our plight. That's our problem. So that's the coon dream. I don't know how we're going to have to do it, but we got to get black people, either to get the ones that aren't going to be fighting off the fighting floor. We got to get them to let go of our arms so we can move and strike them blows, those disabling blows. So help me with that, because we have to have a schism or something to get rid of the oblivious coons, the debutantes. I don't know what other word to call them at this time, but there are a thousand other words. Please help me name the people who are going to be holding us back, stopping us from going forward to protect ourselves, or even strike a blow, uh, and stop them from getting in the way when we do strike a blow. Because the white man has no compulsion against hurting you, but if you got oblivious coons in the way that you gotta dodge and deflect and making you unable to strike back, we got a problem, because we can't win without getting the oblivious coons out the way. Can't win, can't fight, can't do nothing, but be at a standstill. And eventually, he's gonna disable and hurt you. And your oblivious coons are the main problem, because I could have won the fight, and not that easily, but I could have won the fight if it wasn't for the oblivious coon holding me back or getting in the way. That's the vision. They're either holding you back or getting in the way. We got to do something about that. I don't want to call that a black civil war, but it should be a black civil schism, because the oblivious coons have got to get out the way, and they got to stop holding us back. And then we can win this. Those are my two main points on this one. I'm at about 43 minutes, so I'll stop now and then pick up on another one. All right, then. Bye bye.